back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
What up, what up? It's Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture and real life. Today we're coming to you. It's been a little while. We haven't done pop culture in a while, so we wanted to do a little quick catch up. Um, so let's get to it. So much is happening in the world. We're gonna talk about politics in a separate episode, so don't think we're ignoring that, ho. We're not. So
Getting at y'all,
Young Thug is out and he has like 20 some odd years of probation.
which is crazy.
It is so crazy. Like having 20 some odd years of probation is like a setup, basically. And he also cannot be in Metro Atlanta. And I'm like,
And ain't he from Metro Atlanta?
he is. I think he can go for family gatherings, probably with pre-approval. Um, but I'm like, I mean,
He's
I've
just gonna slide on over to Houston or go up to Charlotte.
well, he might not even do that. I mean, Metro Atlanta is one thing. I'm not sure how far they consider Metro Atlanta. So,
He'd be
mm.
better just to get the hell out of the area altogether.
Yeah, so as to not have temptation. However, I just was just like, wow, that is such a specific stipulation. But I guess if the allegation was that he was running this criminal enterprise all throughout Atlanta, then they would want him out of Atlanta.
Hello, that
All
be
right. So speaking of other people in prison, Diddy is there and he's still there. Does not appear that he's going to be getting out. However, with new administration coming into place, I do wonder if he's on the pardon list.
that because as cousin to the show, what is her name? Lord have mercy. Righteous and respectable,
Oh,
Demetria.
Demetria.
Yeah, she said that she calls him Cousin Day Day. She
Yes,
said
which I find
that he
hilarious as
has
someone who
decided
has a cousin
to
day.
resign as the Trump appointments are starting to come down. And like we said before, we'll talk deeply about that later.
Yeah.
But he's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and gracefully move out the way. But that sucks because, like, now everybody is wondering, myself included, what's going to happen to all of these damn lawsuits or these like things that are still impending. One being Diddy and the other being the crazy ass mayor that decided to like
Oh,
really
he's
be
definitely
the
gonna get
gangsters
pardoned.
of New York.
No, no, no. He's definitely gonna get. That case is gone. As far as I'm concerned, that case is gone before the Diddy case. Because they don't see a problem with bribery and corruption. So why would they be prosecuting someone for taking foreign money when that's what they about to use this administration to do?
Child. I mean, I'm with you when you write. However, it's just really unfortunate. This
Yeah.
was shaping up to be some of the trials of the century, and now it's just like up in smoke.
I care less about Eric Adams than I do about Diddy because he has like actual victims. But given his relationship with the incoming, I can't even say that word yet. The incoming administration, head of the
Mhm.
incoming administration, in their long-standing relationship, I have a hard time believing that he's going to prosecute this case going forward. It seems like they're just going to find a way to make it go away. And
Hmm.
even if they do prosecute it, they're just going to pardon him. So it's like, don't waste the people's resources if you're not planning on holding him accountable for real.
I agree. And I feel like at the bare minimum, if he does get pardoned, the only thing that has the potential to be like reparations, so to speak, which there are none for victims in this instance, because they cannot get those times back and the persons that they were before said things happened to them back.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, clean out his money, you know,
Yeah, that and
bring him up all his funds. I mean,
that's pretty much what
that,
they're gonna do. I mean, they were gonna do that anyways. They were gonna
yeah,
stop file civil suits based on these criminal charges anyway. So,
yeah.
and many of them already have filed civil suits where the statute has run for the crime or the criminal piece. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's move on. You have a weird news story here with
Oh, yes, let me pull it up. I think this is the
UAP.
UAP stuff.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So I have been casually perusing the internets, TikTok being one of them. And I have run across on a number of occasions like congressional hearings that were being live streamed on freaking TikTok,
Yeah.
and then turned around and seen additional like C-SPAN footage that was on TikTok about these congressional hearings related to the UAPs that have been like spotted and or discussed in a way that it's caught the government's attention. And they're like now having like this mass disclosure, and all of like the conspiracy theorists on TikTok that believe, that the aliens are out there and they're coming and all this stuff, they're all having all these conversations about it. But I was just like, this is such, like, this week alone, this is so weird. I have seen so many people talking and like literal video footage, I don't know, it's to be taken with a grain of salt, but like they are recording these like unidentified flying aircraft in the skies around them. And all the last thing that I heard was like they were flying and hovering over like major bases and things, not just here in the US, but like across the globe.
Oh,
And I'm
interesting.
like, and this is not on, I want to say that it might have been on like ABC News, like with David Muir or something like that, like briefly, like a snippet, like in passing that nobody would have paid any attention to.
Mm.
But like since then, there's been nothing else. And so, like, how with Twitter back in the day, we used to get all these crazy news reports, like when the young man in Missouri, when all that stuff was happening around like hands up, don't shoot. What is the
Okay.
child's name? Huh?
Mike Brown?
Yes. When
Okay.
all the reports were coming out, like the news reporters were saying that one thing was happening, and that everybody on the ground through Twitter was telling us like the actual real time
Right.
what was happening. I feel like that might be what's going on now, but only on TikTok with people saying like recounting their stories and like these live images. And I'm
Uh-huh.
just like, at what point is the news gonna catch up? Or like, is it, it's giving very much like MIB fake news, like I don't know. It just tripped me out this morning because as I was preparing for us to talk, I found like three or four more videos. And of course, the algorithm is algorithming, right? So like I'm getting these things because I've looked at one or two of them prior earlier in the week. But like now back to back, more people in different parts of the world. I'm just like, I don't know. Everybody can't be lying.
I mean, listen, I think it would be incredibly arrogant to believe that we're the only living things or the only in this entire universe. Like, please be absolutely serious. So,
Hmm.
none of this would surprise me. I don't have any opinions of it either way. I've not seen any additional coverage of it. I did hear about some congressional hearings, but I'm like, I mean, none
But
of
this
this
is
is
the
surprising.
second time. Like I want to say June of last year, there was a congressional hearing with another like aerospace, whatever they were. I don't know their titles 'cause I wasn't really watching it that much. I
Yeah.
just was like, this is really happening. They're having like literal conversations with like
I think
senators.
I think it's been happening for a while. I think maybe people are just paying attention more, or they've
Yeah.
decided to make these public hearings so that people can pay attention more. But I feel like this has been happening for a while. I feel like I've heard things about hearings and stuff like that for a while.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I don't have an opinion about aliens or whatever. I'm kind of like, yeah, of course there are. Like, of course there are other living sentient beings
In the
out
world. Yeah,
there
I
somewhere.
agree.
Like that's
I do not believe that we are alone. However, it's just very odd timing that like all this stuff is happening. It kind of feels like it feels COVID-y in the sense of like all everything was just follow the law all the way up until we got to like January, and then things started to become more serious, and then in February it was like oh shit, and then like the whole country kind of like went slapped down in March. So I'm just kind of like, is this what's happening again? Like, let me knock on some wood.
Mhm. All right, let's move on. What's the
What?
next story?
That's why I was like, it's weird news. I don't know what to make of it. Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know if you've been seeing any of these things, and what your thoughts are. So the next thing on my tidbits of pop culture, crazy random rumors that have been flying around about the Hendersons, Pastor Keion Henderson and Shawnee Henderson. They are alleging, the girls on the internet are alleging that Keon has sought legal counsel in regards to potentially divorcing Shawnee because of all these. alleged rumors of her having some sort of infidelity in their short 2 years of marriage. And I'm just like, this is like, what is wrong with people? People really just don't like to harken back to our previous conversation about misinformation and disinformation that we had
Mhm.
that went up a couple of days ago, maybe sometime last week. It's just a thing of like, as soon as someone sends some sort of like message out there and it just catches wildfire, and then like all these people to Shawnee's like to their demise of their relationship, all these men have come out trying to say that they've had these interactions with her and that she's like, hiring them to be concubines and like, yeah, and I'm just like, what is going on? What world do we live in where like the men are being doing like itch shit? You know what I'm
Also,
saying? Like,
bring back shame. I want shame to come back for everybody because,
girl,
again,
shout out to Jade Next D because they
we are
say that all the time.
obviously we are, of a particular age, and I just can't imagine, like, I can't imagine being proud to be someone's like side piece, like getting on the internet to tell people about. Like, I can't imagine
Well, hell, we have
such a
shows that are
world that
built
I would
all
be
around that.
proud to do that. Like I can't imagine a world I'd be proud to do that. Or I would want to be known to do that for doing that. But there's a lot of things I wouldn't want to be known to do. So, and
Mhm.
that's part of the reason why I'm not really on the internet. I'm on the internet, but I am not of the internet. Like,
There you go. And there you
and
have
I'm
it.
like barely on it other than to consume a bit of it. But um yeah, I didn't, for what it's worth, like when I saw this story here, I looked and looked and looked and looked and could not find one single credible source for this.
Agreed. I
Everything
was like,
was
this is
via
giving
TikTok,
rumors.
everything was giving
Mhm.
um AI generated
Yes.
overlay of like random clips, not even like any good clips, like just their pictures and stuff with random AI generation of words
Hmm.
um on YouTube and TikTok. And I was just like, is this what we're doing? And like this is, like you said, to the point of misinformation and disinformation, but we talked about this before in other contexts. Is like I, my issue is with a lot of things, it's just the flattening of context and the flattening of having any credible information that goes with these stories. Like
Hmm.
everything you heard casually does not need to be discussed, and we are in a era now that anything goes, and I find that to be very troubling. So, and again, as a person who, also has a legal background, like credibility and facts and truth matter to me, so I don't understand why people do stuff like this.
And
It irritates me.
the thing for me, like I did like you, I was like, okay, well, let me really look into this. Like as I was perusing, it was like the men coming out of the woodworks making these claims, and then she was like, I don't know this man. Like that Kiki Palmer meme. I'm sorry, but I don't know this man. Like, I don't know where this stuff is coming from. And it's just like, like again, bring back shame. Because why, if there was shame in these instances, you would not embarrass yourself like that to go saying that this woman had some sort of touted affair with you and like you've been doing all these things. And then she's like flat out like, I don't know this man. I ain't never met him a day in my life. He don't know me. Like,
But you got your little 5 minutes of internet rounds. So
yes. And even when, so
embarrassing.
granted, this story, when I saw the rumor come up before, it was weeks ago. So it could very well be that by the time that I went back to go researching, that the Hendersons was like, fuck this, and had the internet scrubbed.
Possible.
Because it was 3 or 4 weeks since I heard it, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back to it. And then as I'm coming back to it, I see nothing but like the AI generated and then like the conversations of the alleged concubines.
Like, yeah, sure. I think that's pretty much it. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to the list?
No, not today, child.
All right.
November has been crazy, so we're gonna break it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, get down in the comments. Let us know what we miss, what's been going on your news feed, across the internet. And we'll catch you next time. Like,
Bye.
comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.